Happy Monday, NFL fans. And on today's show, we're going to be breaking down the NFL playoff picture before tonight's matchups here on Monday Night Football. It's a doubleheader tonight, so let me know down there in the comment section to get today's show started. Which game are you going to be watching? Both games start 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time tonight. Let me know which game you guys are watching. Are you watching Packers and Giants, type GB/NYG, or if you're going to go Titans Dolphins tonight, type TENMIA down there in the comment section. So let's start with the NFC playoff picture here, the updated list here. Of course, tomorrow after Monday Night Football, this will be updated. We'll have a full show for you guys. But for the time being here, San Francisco does move up to the number one overall spot in the NFC after the Eagles lost to the Cowboys. And speaking of that game, the Cowboys usurped the Eagles in the NFC East standings. They now sit at the number 2 spot. The Detroit Lions, after taking kind of a weird loss yesterday on the road to the Chicago Bears, go down to 9-4. The Buccaneers take control of first place in the NFC South after beating the rival Falcons on the road yesterday. The Vikings got a 3-0 win, so I guess Vikings fans will take that after losing 2 in a row and haven't collected a win in almost a month. They now get to 7-6, and they have the 6th spot. Green Bay currently sitting at number 7 right now, 6-6. So no matter what happens tonight, whether they win or lose, they will be still in possession of that number 7 spot. So this is pretty much set in stone here in terms of the NFC playoff picture heading into Week 15. Other teams in the hunt here are the Los Angeles Rams, Seattle Seahawks, Atlanta Falcons, and New Orleans Saints, all sitting at 6-7. Chicago's been getting a little bit hot lately, now sitting at 5-8. And the rest of the teams down there, New York, Washington, Arizona, of course, Carolina, those teams have little to no chance of making the playoffs at this point. Now for some takeaways here from this Week 14 action. I think the big takeaway in the NFC after this week, and really after the last 2 weeks, is that the San Francisco 49ers are the clear favorites in the NFC, but they're probably the number 1 team in the National Football League right now. If I had to pick one team to win the Super Bowl this year and to hoist the Lombardi Trophy in Vegas, I think right now you have to go with San Francisco. Now, they do have some issues in terms of if you can get a lead on these guys. Brock Purdy isn't exactly the best at bringing teams back from a deficit, but the thing is, it's so hard to get ahead of the San Francisco 49ers. They're explosive on offense. They still have a really good defense. Chase Young has been a really nice addition here to this pass rush, and of course you got Nick Bosa on the other side. So right now, Niners fans, you're the cream of the crop, man. This team is really, really freaking good, and they should be the favorites moving forward. Then we move over to the Detroit Lions, and I think right now we're starting to see that the Lions are a good football team, but they're probably not great. I think Jared Goff, their quarterback, puts a little bit of a ceiling on this team. The defense is good, but it's definitely not top tier, in my opinion, at this point. So even though they're definitely going to win the NFC North, they're definitely going to be a playoff team, and they might even win a playoff game, I don't really consider them true Super Bowl contenders at this point. Then we move over to the NFC South, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, at least in my opinion, are definitely the most well-rounded team in that division right now. The Atlanta Falcons, their run game is better than Tampa, and maybe even their defense might be just a little bit better as well. But I think that Tampa's more well-rounded, where I think Baker Mayfield is actually the best quarterback in the NFC South right now. I mean, Derek Carr is really the only guy that's really in the conversation. But Todd Bowles still has this defense playing pretty darn good. Rachaad White's been a pretty decent running back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as well. So overall, really like the Buccaneers to win the NFC South this year. And after yesterday's win on the road against Atlanta, I think it really is their division to lose. Then you shift over to the Philadelphia Eagles, who definitely took a step down here over these last 2 weeks, losing to the 49ers and the Cowboys respectively. They're starting to get exposed a little bit here, right? So they had that stretch of getting a bunch of really close wins, and now after 2 blowout losses, I think people are starting to see that this isn't the same Eagles team that we saw a year prior that made the Super Bowl. The defense is siphoning off points at this point. Jalen Hurts, although he's still a very good quarterback, isn't playing at the same level as he has over the last year. And the Eagles, it definitely seems like right now, very good football team. I think they're still a Super Bowl contender, but they're going to have to figure some things out, especially on defense. Then you get to the Rams, and, I think that the Rams are the team to watch out for right now in the NFC. Right now, you got the Minnesota Vikings, who are having big-time struggles to move the football. Justin Jefferson is hurt again. And right now, Los Angeles just yesterday went toe-to-toe on the road with the Baltimore Ravens. So I think Matthew Stafford is really playing good football right now. I think Morris, their defensive coordinator there in L.A., is doing a really, really good job with the talent that they have there. There's not a whole lot of great talent there in L.A. on the defensive side of the ball outside of Aaron Donald, but yet they're doing a pretty decent job right now. So I think L.A., if there's going to be a team that sneaks into the NFC playoff picture, I would say watch out for the Los Angeles Rams. Then my final takeaway in the NFC coming out of this Sunday's matchup here is that Justin Fields, the Chicago Bears quarterback, is making things incredibly tough on the Bears front office here in terms of making a decision. It looks like they're going to have the number 1 overall draft pick with Carolina 2 games ahead in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes right now. And of course, the Bears get Carolina's pick in the 2024 NFL draft. But man, Justin has really looked better as a passer in the second half of the season. And then, of course, the rushing ability is elite. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see what they decide to do there in Chicago. Now, for today's pinned comment, let me know down there in the comment section what you guys think. Will Justin Fields be the Bears' starting quarterback in 2024? Type S if you think he's going to be the starter, or type R if you think the Bears will replace him. When it comes to my prediction as to how the NFC playoff picture is going to look, I think it's going to look mostly the same here. I think the division winners are all going to look the same as they do right now. Same thing with Philly at number 5. I think Green Bay does move up a spot. I like what I see from Jordan Love so far this year. And then we also got the Los Angeles Rams sneaking in there to the number 7 spot. If you disagree with me, let me know down there in the comments section. Now let's move on over to the AFC here, where we got Baltimore retaking the number 1 spot, at least for now. If Miami wins against the Titans tonight on Monday Night Football, they reclaim that top spot in the AFC. But you also got the Chiefs losing yet again to the Buffalo Bills, falling to 8-5. Jacksonville lost to the Browns. They go to 8-5. The Browns really looking good right here at 8-5. Steelers get back in the playoffs here, or at least for now, with a 7-6 record after the losses that the Colts and Texans took. Of course, the Texans and Colts still very much in the conversation. Denver has started to inject themselves in here. Same thing with the Bengals, Bills, and then Chargers, Vegas, Jets, definitely on the cusp of getting eliminated. Tennessee and New England have likely no shot. So as for my takeaways here in the AFC, let's start with the Chiefs. I think that they have a massive wide receiver problem because these wide receivers have cost Mahomes multiple games at this point. I mean, Kadarius Toney with all the drops, and MVS with all the drops, and just yesterday, of course, Travis Kelce makes one of the greatest plays I've ever freaking seen in my life to win the football game. And of course, Kadarius Toney has this entire foot in the neutral zone, and they call him offsides. I mean, goodness gracious, this wide receiver core is one of the worst in the National Football League at this point, and you can't help but feel that Kansas City is doomed for a playoff loss this year, given their weakness here at the wide receiver spot. Then you get to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and let's face it, man, the Jags look like frauds right now after 2 straight losses, this time to the Cleveland Browns and Joe Flacco. I mean, seriously, you going into those games, you're playing against Jake Browning and Joe Flacco, who was on the couch just a couple of weeks ago, and you lose both of those games. Trevor Lawrence is starting to throw interceptions. I mean, this team is definitely on the downward trend right now, and I definitely don't consider the Jags legitimate Super Bowl contenders, at least right now. And then also the Browns. I mean, I think that most of us thought when Deshaun Watson was out for the season that the Browns' playoff hopes were definitely dim at that point, but Joe Flacco has come in and has really played well, guys. He has put up over 250 yards passing and 2 touchdowns in each of his first couple of games with the Cleveland Browns, which is really, really good. That's better than what really Deshaun Watson was giving them this year when he was playing. So right now the Browns are playing their best football of the season. They're 8-5. They're streaking towards the playoffs, and I'd be really surprised if they didn't end up making the final playoff picture here when it's all said and done. Then when it comes to the Houston Texans, a team that was really getting hot, now C.J. Stroud dealing with a concussion. Now, how long will he be out? Who knows? But, the Texans definitely need this guy to get back in the lineup. There's definitely not enough talent here, in my opinion, for Davis Mills to come in and lead a playoff run. They need C.J. Stroud. They need their rookie of the year in there, so it's really going to depend when he can get back if the Houston Texans are going to make the AFC playoffs. Some other teams that you need to definitely be watching out for as well, especially with teams like Pittsburgh and Houston having injuries to the quarterback position right now. Denver's really getting hot. Their defense has played really good football over the last 6-7 weeks. Cincinnati, Jake Browning has actually played good football over the last 2 weeks as well. It seems like the Bengals aren't dead just yet. And then the Buffalo Bills just went into Arrowhead and beat Mahomes on his home turf. Josh Allen playing some really inspired football right now as well. So look for at least one of these teams to sneak into the AFC playoff picture and take over either the Colts spot, the Steelers spot, or both of those spots here at the number 6 and 7 spots, respectively. When it comes to my projection here for the AFC, I think the Dolphins, Ravens, Chiefs, Jaguars, nothing changes there. I think the Dolphins are going to win tonight. And then also I think the Browns lock up the number 5 spot. And then the Broncos and Bills sneak their way in. I think Cincinnati is just outside the playoff picture at this point. And as always, guys, make sure you let me know down in the comments if you have any disagreements. Now, before I get into some Monday Night Football previews here, we'll be breaking down the matchups and then, of course, my official score predictions for Monday Night Football. I want to tell you about today's sponsor at Game Time. And listen, man, let me tell you about Game Time here because it's the easiest way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. And this is the time to start doing stuff here with your family, going out to events. You know, when you get together with your family, if you want to go to like an NBA basketball game or an NHL hockey game or maybe even college basketball right now, that would be a super fun thing to do. And let me tell you guys, Game Time is the only ticketing app that you need on your phone. It's the only one that I use. And the reason for that is that you got the lowest price guarantee, so you don't have to shop around on a bunch of different ticketing apps. It's also got a super easy to use interface that shows you views of your seat before you buy. It's absolutely fantastic, guys. It's the fastest growing ticketing app in the country for a reason. Get images of your seat before you buy so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. You can buy tickets in a matter of seconds, 2 taps, and you're set. Tickets are also sent directly to your phone, another great feature, so you never have to dig through that pesky email to get your tickets. Snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code NFLChat. One word, all caps, NFLChat for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code NFLChat for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. So now let's start with the Tennessee Titans versus the Miami Dolphins tonight at Hard Rock Stadium. Of course, the Dolphins are going to be heavily favored to win this football game. And really, the person I'm going to be watching out for on Miami's sideline today is going to be Tyreek Hill, who, in my opinion, if I had to choose one player to be the NFL's MVP to this point, I'm picking Tyreek Hill. I know he's not the betting favorite right now, but I really think that Tyreek Hill is on track to break that 2,000-yard mark as a wide receiver, which is absolutely incredible. And then the person I'm watching out for Tennessee is, of course, the rookie quarterback, Will Levis. Lots of arm talent. He's been up and down to this point to start his NFL career. Going up against a legitimate defense with Jalen Ramsey there for the Dolphins defense. So it'll be interesting to see how Levis does in tonight's matchup. Now, the playoff odds for Tennessee, I mean, they're pretty much done at 4-8 to this point. It does increase to 2% if they win tonight, so keep that in mind. But when it comes to the Miami Dolphins, their playoff probability is over 99%. So you got two teams clashing right now. I definitely think that Miami is going to be the one that comes out on top today. I think that the Miami Dolphins are going to win this football game at home. I mean, obviously, right, you got Tua Tagovailoa, you got Tyreek Hill, you got a great defense, all these different things. I think Miami comes out on top and wins this football game here by a final score of 31-13. Now, tonight's stakes for the Miami Dolphins is that a win puts them back in the number one spot in the AFC playoff picture. And really, Miami is a super dangerous football team, man. Tua Tagovailoa is playing inspired football. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, I mean, the speed that they have here is so hard to guard. And then the defense with Jalen Ramsey has completely turned a new leaf here after struggling a little bit to start the season. It hurts not having Jalen Phillips, but man, the Miami Dolphins are really doing a great job right now. So do me a favor right now, click that thumbs up icon to show your support here for Chat Sports. Really do appreciate all of your guys' support. And with that, let's go to the Green Bay game here, where it's going to be Jordan Love and the Packers traveling to MetLife Stadium to take on the New York Giants. Giants sitting at 4-8, Packers at 6-6. No matter what happens tonight, the Green Bay Packers will be the number 7 seed in the NFC playoff picture. The player I'm obviously going to be looking out for the Green Bay Packers tonight is Jordan Love. He's been playing really great football over the last month. He has really put this team on his back, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how he does against Wink Martindale's blitz-heavy scheme. And then, of course, I'm going to be looking at the quarterback for the Giants, Tommy DeVito, getting the start over a healthy Tyrod Taylor now. So this is really his time to show that, the flash in the pan that we've seen from him over the last couple of weeks is not just that he can be a little bit more sustainable throughout the rest of his career, and that he deserves to remain the starter here in New York. So for me, I think that when it comes to this game, the thing that is really going to matter right now is whether or not Green Bay is going to be a big-time contender for an NFC playoff spot here. If you win, those chances increase to almost 80%. If they lose, they go down to almost a 50-50 shot. So if you're a Green Bay Packers fan, this game will be pretty darn big tonight. You got to win against these cupcakes, so to speak, here in the New York Giants. And then in terms of the Giants, their playoff odds less than 1%, but it does go to 2% with a win. So at the end of the day here, my pick, I'm going to pick Green Bay to win this one by a final score of 27-14. I think Jordan Love is going to continue to play well. And at the end of the day, I think Green Bay is streaking towards the playoffs. I think they can continue that stretch tonight. So what say you guys? Do you think Jordan Love over this last month is showing that he can be the next great Packers quarterback, or do you think this is just kind of a flash in the pan and it's going to die down here soon? Type yes or no. Is Jordan Love the next great Packers quarterback? So tomorrow, right here on NFL Daily, Tom will be back to break down the full NFL playoff picture after Monday Night Football, full team breakdowns, clinching scenarios in Week 15, the whole 9 yards. We're going to be back tomorrow, so make sure you click that subscribe button right now for more NFL news and rumors content throughout the NFL season.